Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us for Google Reviews 101, How to Double Reviews in 3 Months with our sponsor, Kenect, as part of the LTRC Industry Insight Series held every Wednesday. The speaker today is McKay Allen. McKay Allen is the VP of Marketing at Kenect. Kenect is the text messaging platform for more than 3,000 law firms throughout the US and Canada. It allows law firms to send and receive text messages from their business phone number, request Google reviews via text, conduct video chats, text with clients, streamline intake, and even generate more leads. Thank you all for joining us. We'll now begin the webinar.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having us. It's great to be here. We're going to try to hopefully give you a baseline and a foundation, that's the word, for Google reviews, and do that in kind of a 101 setting and give you some really clear ways to double Google reviews in 3 months. We'll also go over some specific case studies in terms of how law firms have done that and give you the process for doing that. And then we'll take whatever questions you have. So type those into the Q&A area or the chat area. I'll look at both as we go, and we'll have a good discussion here. Also, I should say my goal is to get you out of here in 30 minutes or so. I have seen sometimes shorter 30-minute webinars be more valuable than the 60 to 90-minute webinars that are death by PowerPoint. So we'll try to keep this relatively short. As Sasha said, my name is McKay Allen. I'm on the marketing team here at Kenect, and thanks to Sasha and her team for helping us put this together. So let's get started. First of all, who is Kenect? We're based outside of Salt Lake City. We're a text messaging platform built for law firms throughout North America. We help you communicate efficiently. We help you generate leads. We help you conduct video consultations and drive online reviews, all with texting. So essentially what we do is we allow you to keep your main business phone number and text with that phone number. So you log into Kenect and you can send and receive text messages to and from that main number. They look like a regular text message for your client, but to you, you're managing them in one dashboard in Kenect. And with that, you can really communicate efficiently. You know the benefit of texting, right? No phone tag, not having to worry about if people are dodging your phone calls, generating new leads, conducting video consultations, and driving online reviews, all with texting. We also found out recently that we were listed number 216 on the Inc. 5000 list, which is a really big deal. So the Inc. 5000 list, if you're unfamiliar, is a list that is using verifiable data that lists the 5,000 fastest growing companies in America. And it's an honor just to be on the list, but to be in the top, 5% is a huge honor. So it's a big deal for us, and we're really excited about that. We just recently passed about 1,200 law firms that are using Kenect. We work with the following case management systems, integrate with them. We have over 5,000 total customers. As I said, about 1,200 of them are in legal. We have one other vertical that we sell into. But yeah, it's growing really rapidly. We integrate with these systems. You don't have to use these systems to use Kenect, but we also wanted to make sure it was that we had these integrations built, because we feel like it's important to make sure you have data going back and forth, and we can provide more information on how these integrations work. But again, you don't need to use these integrations, but you can. How do we do it? Two-way text messaging for your law firms. You don't need to give out your personal cell number, so you get the benefit of texting without having to give out that cell number. Web leads straight from your website. We put a little text us button on your website that you will get more leads from. If you have that little text us button and your little normal contact us page plus the phone number that people will call, you will generally get text about 78% of the time. So people want to text when they're given all those options. Also video chat for virtual consultations and online review generation. So easily request reviews with texting as well. Your clients do prefer text messaging. Let's take a second on this one and talk through it a little bit. So, Dan, I see your question. That's a really good question. Let me get through this slide and I'll answer it, okay? So most people would prefer to interact with the business with a text rather than a phone call. 98% of all text messages are opened. 96% of clients find phone calls to be disruptive. The bottom line on this is that the majority of people like the vast majority, 9 out of 10, would much prefer to text a business than call them. They don't want to sit on hold. They don't want to have to explain their situation 7 times and get passed around the phone tree. They have no interest in trying to reach you when they have 10 minutes of their life to themselves. It's like, okay, I have a break. I'm going to call this company. No, let them text while they're in a webinar, while they're in a work meeting, while they're sitting at dinner or at a soccer game. Like, let them text in those situations and text back. You will no longer have to play phone tag if you do this. You will get a hold of your clients constantly. The other thing I would say is that I'll bet you half of you on this call are texting somebody right now. And that's okay. Like, I'm not personally offended by that fact, right? That's the beauty of texting, is you can do something else while you're doing it. And that's the reason I think texting has become so popular and demanded for your clients. Let me be super clear. Like, your clients want to text you. You should let them. And again, with Kenect, it's a whole lot more than texting, right? It's review generation, it's video chat, all powered with texting. All right, Dan asked a good question. Does the text message from your landline or Voip line have to go to a recipient's cell phone? Yes. So your recipient has to have a cell phone. Now, they don't need to download Kenect or anything like that, but it goes to their cell phone as a normal text message would. If that makes sense. Dan, did that answer your question? Let me know if it didn't. And then Dominic, I see your message. Yes, we're building more integrations all the time. So we're completing one we're going to announce here in a couple weeks. There's some really significant integrations we're going to announce in Q4, like really significant. We're excited about those, but not yet for Abacus Law, and answer your question directly. All right, top 8 ways law firms use Kenect to schedule appointments and send consultations and send appointment reminders to streamline intake. This is a common one that most people start out with, is to streamline intake. Send case updates, collect fees, video chat with clients, send and receive photos, videos, PDFs, attachments, generate online reviews, capture more leads from Facebook, Instagram, and your website. So law firms use these or use Kenect for these purposes. How does the text us thing work? As I mentioned, you add that little widget to your website. You will get more leads doing that than you will from any other source. And you can see this is a law firm who's a customer of ours, Kirker Davis. They weren't really getting many leads. Then they added that widget. Suddenly they're getting leads because people want to text. When you text, they click on that little button. You can choose they can choose a department or an individual. They then put in the information, and they're able to instantly text and receive text messages that can automatically filter into your case management system. So how does it work? You log into the Kenect texting inbox, and you can send and receive text messages right from here. You can see on the bottom right-hand side of your screen where you would type in the text message you want to send, or you can ask for payment with that little $ button. You see the video camera, you see the calendar, the star, which is the review request, and then replies. It's just really easy to use. You can keep track of your contacts in here or in your case management system, whatever you prefer. Mobile app. You can download the mobile app to your phone. All the attorneys could do that. Paralegals could do that. It's no extra charge. They can download it to their phone. Whoever you have managing Kenect internally can assign leads to those individuals. It's great. It works really well. So quick reply, request reviews, attach and send photos, videos, PDFs, attachments, DocuSigns, whatever. Do a live camera. So you do live video, request payments, schedule messages, and invite to video chat. So how to use Kenect video chat. Step 1 is click on the video icon in your Kenect inbox to send a video link to your client. Both you and the client will click on the same link, and you can start video chatting. It's pretty simple. So a lot of firms use this for the intake process. No additional software required to run video chats. Easy for your team, easy for your client. Again, we weren't sure how law firms were going to use this when we launched it, frankly, but it's really powerful stuff. The ability to do a live intake call while you're texting somebody without leaving the text thread. That's the key. Keep stuff in that text thread, because that's where people hang out, is in their texting inbox, or on their phone with texting, I should say. All right, Google Reviews 101. Let's dive right into this. So what are Google reviews? Well, anyone using Google can review your business and leave a star rating. Anybody, and that's important to note. They don't need to be your client. They don't need to be your customer. They don't need to have worked with you ever in their life or your life. All they need to do is leave you a star rating if they have a Gmail account. These reviews can be just star ratings. They can say a lot. They can say nothing. And Google does nothing to verify that what they're saying is true, and they do nothing to verify that they're your actual client. Google does nothing to verify any of this stuff. So why does Google care so much? Or why do Google reviews matter so much? Maybe is a better way to phrase it. Because Google reviews matter to clients is the answer to the first answer. So 93% of clients use reviews as their first step in choosing a firm. 91% say they trust reviews as much as they would trust personal recommendations. These really are the new word of mouth. Now, the thing that's interesting is if we would have done this webinar 5 or 6 years ago, we would have seen these numbers in like the 48 and 51% range. You can see how much they've grown. The second reason reviews matter is because they matter to Google. Rankings are completely determined by ratings and reviews. Let me be super clear about that. Ratings are completely determined by ratings and reviews. The top listing receives around 50% of total clicks, 98% of clicks are in the top 4. So if you're not getting found on the top 3 or 4 here, you will not get clicked. And the vast majority of law firms, the vast majority of people in America, like 96%, are going to Google first when they want to find a law firm. That's why we say Google reviews matter more than any other review site. More than Facebook, more than Yelp, more than Avo, is because people go to Google when they want to find a law firm first. That's where they go. Rankings are completely determined by ratings and reviews. Steps for review gathering. Have an internal process. Have an internal owner. Use texting, not email. I'm going to go through each of these in depth. So first is have an internal process. What do I mean by that? Well, if you were to go to, let's say you have 8 total employees at your firm, or 12, whatever the number is. Let's say you have 12. If you go to all 12 and say, hey, what's our process for gathering reviews? My suspicion is that 10 of those 12 would have no idea what you're talking about. And 2 would probably have different answers from one another about what the process is. That's no bueno. You should make sure you have a consistent process. Now, what should be part of that process? I wouldn't write some 12-page booklet about how to get reviews. No one will read it. You'll feel great about it, and no one will care. What you need to do is literally write a 4-bullet-pointed checklist. And here's the 4 things on it. And I should probably put them on the slide, but I haven't. First thing is, who do we ask? Do we ask everybody or just the people who like us? The answer is just the people who like us. When do we ask? Do we ask during the case? Do we ask after the case has been resolved positively? Do we ask after the case has been resolved positively, but before they've paid? When do we ask? What is the right timeline to ask? That's a really important question. The third thing in the process should be how do we ask? Do we text? Do we email? Do we call? Do we ask in person? How do we ask? And then finally is who's in charge of asking, right? Who's asking? How do we ask? When do we ask? Are important components of that process. Number 2 is have an internal owner. Make sure someone's in charge of this. If you're trying to get reviews and you just develop some process and don't have somebody who's in charge of getting it, you will not have success. You just won't. So you've got to have an internal owner. Now, who should this be? At firms that are large enough to have a marketing person, it should be the marketing person. If you're not large enough to have a marketing person, it could be your office manager, could be your receptionist, could be attorneys themselves, paralegals themselves, whatever, it doesn't matter. Just make sure you have an owner. And then finally is use texting, not email. Use texting, not email. Now, if what most firms do, by the way, is they will send an email that says something like, hey, thanks for working with us. It was a pleasure to help you. Leave us a review. For those of you who send emails to ask for reviews, you will get reviews about 1 to 2% of their time, of the time. 1 to 2%. If you do not, if you text rather, you will get reviews between 35 and 45% of the time. So again, if you email, you will get reviews between 1 and 2% of the time. If you text, you're going to get reviews between 35 and 45% of the time. So how does it work? If you're using Kenect, you simply send a text message. It's got your logo. It's got from your firm's name. It's got the text message here that you can customize to say exactly what you want it to say. They click on the link, they select the site, they leave the review with their thumbs. It's that simple. You do that, you're going to get reviews between 35 and 45% of the time. So what are your steps to success here? Number one is take control. Don't let angry clients determine your online reputation. Get your great clients to leave reviews. Number two is build a repeatable process. Find a point in your process where you can easily ask happy clients for reviews. Number three is use text messaging, not email. Kenect is 35 times more effective than email at collecting reviews. Now, I want to take a moment to just talk about the first one on this list. I know this kind of goes against your natural inclination. Like, you didn't get into law. You don't work for a law firm or become an attorney to be a salesperson. I get it. But I'm telling you, the firms that are aggressive with pursuing reviews are the firms that win. If you're just sitting back and hoping to get reviews, all that will happen is you will get a couple of negative reviews and maybe a couple positive ones each year. That's it. Pretty soon the negative ones overwhelm the positive ones. You've got to be aggressive. And that's the best word probably I can use, is be aggressive with going to get reviews. Make sure that you're asking people that like you to leave you a review. All right, the keys to deal with negative reviews. First question is, how common are they? It's about 1 in 50 for law firms. Family attorneys generally get a much worse ratio than that, like a 1 in 8 or 1 in 9 ratio in terms of how common bad reviews are. The tips for avoiding bad reviews: you probably can't avoid them, but you can mitigate them. You can mitigate bad reviews. Now, the way you mitigate them is by communicating better. So the number one reason that law firms get negative reviews is because of the perception that they were not responsive enough or communicative enough. So if you do those things better, you are going to have more success in avoiding bad reviews. Now, we're biased, but we believe the best way to communicate better is with texting, and it's not close. It's the biggest revolution in communication since the invention of the telephone 100 years ago. So this is a big deal for your firm. Finally, what not to do when you get a bad review: don't do the thing you want to do the very most, which is write them a reply that puts them in their place. You're not going to convince them. All you're going to do is make yourself look petty, unprofessional, and incompetent. You're not going to convince the person. They're not going to then reply and be like, "Oh, you made some excellent points," and then retract their negative review. That's not going to happen. You're just going to get in a public argument online, which is not a good situation. Remember this: when you reply to a negative review, your audience is not the person who left you the review. It is the 5,000 people who are going to see that review in the next month. All right, what should you do when you get a bad review? What you should do is two things. First, go to the person or department that the review is about at your firm and figure out what on earth happened. Get to the bottom of the situation. If you do that, you will have success, right? You're going to figure out where your firm is weak. Maybe you did screw up. Maybe you weren't as communicative as you should be. Maybe your attorney didn't handle something well. Make sure you know what went wrong. And then the second thing that you should do when you get a bad review is reply, but reply with something like this: "Gosh, I'm sorry that happened. That does sound frustrating. I can understand why you're frustrated. My name is McKay. I'm one of the partners at the firm. You can text our main firm phone number. We would love, I'll respond personally, and we'll see if we can resolve this." So all you've done there is diffuse the situation. Like, they're probably never going to reply, but what you have done is appear professional and competent and reasonable. And the 5,000 people who see that exchange are going to think, "Oh, this attorney handled that well," as opposed to the crazy person who left the angry review. So that's what matters. All right, the key though is to bury bad reviews with good ones. You've got to bury these bad reviews with aggressively going to get good ones. Okay, I want to go through this two quick case studies, and then we'll be done and take whatever questions you have. First case study is with a law firm called Carey, Leisure, and Neal, based in Tampa. They initially wanted to get Kenect because they wanted to help their intake. But once they got Kenect, they realized, oh wait, not only does it help our intake, because we're able to ask our intake questions via text and automatically put that information into Filevine in their case. But they also added the Text Us widget to their website, and they're getting more leads. They've also seen video chat they also use video chat during their intake and initial consultation process. They've seen an 82% increase in Google reviews. They're able to text customers, past clients, current clients, and leads. It just is super simple for them. It's transformed their firm. The other firm that I wanted to talk through is Dozier Miller. It's a firm based in Charlotte. They said it's the little things that make a big difference. That's what Kenect does for our clients. Texting makes it easier to contact us, easier to pay, and easier to send documents. Less time spent on the phone. Clients don't have to spend a 20-minute phone call. They text and get right to the meat of the question. A 253% increase in Google reviews. Got immediately 100 reviews. Clients prefer text messaging to calling, simplified intake process, and look at the volume of texts their clients have sent them in just 12 months. 5,200 text messages from their clients in just 12 months. So it's massively, massively important. Okay, if you're interested in learning more, text us or call us at this number. We'd love to speak with you, 888-972-7422. You can also go to kenect.com. So with that, thanks for jumping on. I appreciate your time, everybody. I hope this was useful. Sasha, thanks for having us, and everybody have a great day and a great week.
Thanks, McKay. That's all the time that we're going to have for today. I would like to thank our sponsor, Kenect, and all of you for attending our webinar today as part of the LTRC Industry Insight Series. If you are curious about future webinars, please check out the ABA LTRC page or follow our Twitter at LTRC for updates. You can keep up with Kenect at GoKenect on Twitter or Kenect.com. We will now conclude the webinar. Bye, everyone.